Um, we've been, of course, talking about what is explaining India's underperformance, right? I mean, earnings deceleration, of course, is a big one. Valuation still about one standard deviation above normal. Historical averages is another. But I think a lesser spoken about fact, which I alluded to, I think, last week was maybe is the lack of AI stocks. Surbhi, and I think we spoke about it last week, right?
Yeah.
India doesn't have AI stocks to offer.
And the world is obsessed with just AI and more AI.
Yeah. So, I just want to put out some data which kind of talks to this, right? And this is as of end of last week. Look at what the chase for AI exposure has done. NVIDIA is now 8% of the S&P 500. It's the fattest weight for any stock in the S&P 500 since 1981. This is, S&P 500 is the largest index in the world. 500 stocks, 500 of the largest stocks in the world. And a single name, NVIDIA, is 8% of the S&P 500. So actually, if you think about it, and I may be exaggerating to make a point, 5 or 7 stocks make up the US stock market right now, and all of them are AI stocks. So it's just absolutely incredible what is going on. Just some historical context in terms of where these things have peaked out, Apple has peaked at about 7% of the S&P 500 in 2023. The stock peaked out then. During the dot-com bubble, which is the year 2000, Microsoft and GE were made up about 4% of the market, of the S&P 500, right? IBM hit a high of 6% in 1984. But never before and this is data going back 1981, NVIDIA, single name, 8%, beating all these names. And of course, we know the reason why NVIDIA has done so well. It sells the chips, which enables the compute, which allows for all these AI advancements, large language models, et cetera, et cetera. So, I think it's just quite incredible. And, the US market narrative, by the way, also has been that tariffs, et cetera, may hurt, inflation may rise, growth may weaken. But because AI-led productivity gains are going to be so large, it doesn't matter. As I said, the US market right now is 5 stocks, 7 stocks for all practical purposes. So, things may go south, but as long as these 7 names are solid and continue to rise, that's it. Just look at this outperformance. The Bloomberg Magnificent 7 Index, which is basically nothing but 7 stocks, which Bloomberg has created an index of, has outperformed the MSCI All-World Index by 220% over the last 5 years. That's the outperformance. That's not the return. That's just, huge. Absolutely huge. On the contrary, if you look at India, right? Look at MSCI India. MSCI India has underperformed the MSCI World Index by about 20% since last October. And this is the underperformance in India that I was talking about. And hence the question. It's just a question. It's just food for thought. Just think about what are the AI stocks in India, right? Do you have can you make a list of 5 names, 10 names which offer core AI exposure? You can say, well, Indian IT stocks do it to some degree, and they're trying to get into the AI thing, etc. But in terms of core AI, I think it's lacking. You got it in Japan, you've got it in Taiwan, you got it in China, of course, you got it in US to some degree, you've got it in Europe as well. Lithography machines, etc. In some way or form, many countries around the world offer that exposure, but in India, that is missing. And I'm not saying this is the core reason why India's underperformed, but I think it is one of the important factors which is not talked about as much as the broader theme, which is earnings deceleration, valuations, etc.
Oh, absolutely. And then you look at the bare basic numbers here and now, and they hurt. 1-year return in India, for multiple reasons, including the reasons that Prashant just alluded. Nifty's flat, 1% return over the last 12 months. S&P 500, 20% return. And NASDAQ, which has a better representation of all these AI themes, obviously, almost 28% return. It's been a tough last 12 months. But anyway, we've still got hope. At least the domestic institutional investors or the DIIs, the mutual funds, they're still using the spirit of consolidation to build positions in the market. And we'll talk about that a little later on the show.